welcome back. We're going to be doing chapter 4 of the book of Psalms. Go ahead and read the entire psalm, and I'm going to read a little bit about how God smiles in every tight spot that we might be in. David was in a tight spot, which is what the Hebrew word for distress in verse 1 literally means. Verse 1 in chapter 4 of the book of Psalms. Answer me when I called, O God, who declares me innocent. Take away my distress. Have mercy on me and hear my prayer. About 150 years later, Elijah the prophet was in a difficult situation like David's. He too was in a tight spot, faced with the starvation on the other side of the Jordan River. But Elijah discovered that God worked in mysterious ways to rescue his people. Elijah was fed by ravens, of all things. 1 Kings chapter 17, verse 6. Throughout the history of God's people have continued to experience his peace time and again. St. Augustine said Psalm 4 should be sung aloud before the whole world as a testimony of the peace God gives in the midst of both inward and outward trouble. Martin Luther agreed. This psalm was a favorite of his. So let's see what verse I inscribed in my journal. And I chose verse 3. And I underlined it in green and red. If we check the Bible Reading Journal series color chart, the red is for us to embrace his love and let us be grateful. And the green is for us to not only acknowledge his promises, but also maintain a prayerful routine, a lifestyle, prayerful heart. And so that's exactly what I did in verse 3. Know that the Lord has set us apart, his faithful servant, for himself. I would like to be prayerful. I'm grateful that he set me apart, but I want to pray to be able to be a faithful servant. And the Lord hears when I call to him. I underlined that verse, the other half of the verse 3, chapter 4 of the book of Psalms, in red, because I am very grateful when he answers my prayer. So let's see, I've got to change the page. Let's switch to Psalm 4 and how I went ahead and journal with using the infrastructure of the Bible Reading Journal series. I used the ESV translation and the message. The message I highlighted in red, and that means that I'm very grateful. Look who got picked by God. Look at this. I was picked by God, and I'm so grateful. He listens the split second I call to him. Yes, complain if you must, but don't slash out. Keep your mouth shut and let your heart do the talking. Build your case before God and wait for his verdict. Yes, be prayerful and trust. I've been set apart for himself, and that's part of my observation and reflection. He hears me every time I pray. Be prayerful and don't lash out. Be discreet and build a case before God, not the foolish and prideful people I know. So that was kind of my reflection. I asked the Lord to help me step in obedience today, especially when I get upset. I don't want to sin or act like a fool. I like to repent any angry thoughts I had the other day. I counted my blessings. I wrote a prayer, and then additional scriptures that I went ahead and review and scribe were the following. Book of Psalms 135, verse 4, chapter 31, verse 23, chapter 50, verse 5, chapter 79, verse 2, 6 and 8, and 9, and chapter 17, verse 6. In the ESV, I highlighted in green because I want to be prayerful. Love the Lord, all of you his saints. Let the Lord preserve the faithful, but abundantly repays the one who acts in pride. And then I highlighted another verse. Depart from me, all you workers of evil, for the Lord has heard the sound of my weeping. The Lord has heard my plea. The Lord accepts my prayer. And that is my prayer, ongoing prayer for him not only to continue knowing the motives of my heart, but to accept any given prayer I lift up. And then he calls us upon us, for us. I call upon you, for you will answer me, O God. Incline your ear to me, hear my words. Yes. I don't know why I highlighted in blue. I think I should have highlighted that in green. It would be a prayer for me, for him to hear my words. So you all have a blessed day, and we'll do Psalm 5 at a later date.